You may be wondering why white mages out of 35 years worth of canon. Well, a lot of it is the aesthetic. I quite enjoy how the white mage robes look, especially with the idea of interpreting them in the form of a paletot. A lot of it is also their function within Final Fantasy canon. White mages function almost as battle medics for the party for Final Fantasy games usually, particularly in the early ones where their offensive capabilities are severely limited. This was such a pronounced part of their character that there is a challenge well known within the fan community to have a party of only white mages to beat the game. This isn't to say it is impossible to beat the game using only white mages, only that it is extremely difficult to the point where it might as well be. Acts of service is one of your primary love languages. I think that is a perfectly apt analogy of you can't get by solely healing and buffering everybody else. Eventually, you have to create conditions in which you yourself can thrive and function on your own. The party cannot function easily without a white mage. Yes, that is true. That is an important part of it. But white mages find it exceedingly difficult to get anywhere or get anything done without someone who's capable of a little bit better offense. So I'm starting with a color palette of deep red, bright red, cream, white, and black. This is an exceptionally easy color palette because white mages are known for primarily just those 5 colors. I'm using the deep red for the trim around the blouse and the sleeves of the blouse, the bright red for the trimming of the paletot. The cream is also going to be on the paletot, and the white is going to be for the blouse. For wearability's sake and having the ability to wear it with more than one thing, I am doing the split skirt in black, just to have a little bit more flexibility because everything I make is designed to be worn as separates within the rest of my wardrobe. One thing I've only done very recently is I've started doing the mood boards. Now, as you can see for the white mage, I'm going for a very official, sort of almost militaristic look to it. I want to interpret it somewhere between the Victorian and Edwardian era, with, admittedly, a little bit of the 40s thrown in. I know you see the bustle dress. That is something I only came across very recently, of course, when I was halfway through the project. And that is definitely something I'm going to revisit when I have a proper dress form. That's probably when I'm going to come back to it. But this is something that really brought me close to the idea of the white mage aesthetic. Is something that references it rather than actually uses it is Garnet's costume from Final Fantasy IX. My favorite Final Fantasy, ironically enough. I really want to pull the vibes from this. I have this upper half done. I'm going to see if I can get through to this point before the show. I have T-1 month left to get everything done and finalized. So that is going to be one of my big goals. I tried for the hood in my concept art, but it came out a lot more Assassin's Creed, especially with how I redid the gloves. Yeah, the gloves. With how I redid the sleeves. Now, my outfit concept is very battle medic, very working woman of the late 1800s, early 1900s, with a little bit of fantasy thrown in there because it's Final Fantasy. I did want to throw in some of the 1940s, again, mostly for flexibility's sake, so that I can wear the wardrobe with more things and have it look a little bit more seamless. I do aspire to, and I keep saying this, I do aspire to do this outfit or some interpretation of it as a white mage one day. But I, A, need to get a few more skill sets in there, and B, definitely need a dress form to do that. So for now, we're doing a split skirt inspired by these police women's outfits from the 1880s. We're doing a blouse from the 1940s, and I'm doing a little bit of a crosshair between these 2 paletots. This is actually the exact pattern I'm using. And this was the inspiration for my split skirt. This is the exact sort of vibe I want my split skirt to have. So I really like the concept of Nicole Rudolph's good, better, best practice for outfit construction. So for good. I generally wanted the bare minimum of what I needed for me to consider this outfit a success. A short waist-length paletot with the 40s blouse and the split skirt. I'm probably going to wear my Tifa combat boots, which when the pictures come out, you'll see why I call them the Tifa combat boots. They look just like them. And then I have a little red silk necktie that I made from a ribbon. I'm still debating as to which pin, if any, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to add the peplum to the paletot, and that's going to be the big change. I don't want to get too crazy, that's in if I have time. I'm not going to get too crazy with the peplum. That's pretty much going to be just like with most things with this outfit, as it's on a bit of a time crunch. Best is going to include a thematically correct hood, and I'm probably going to do cuffs as well. I like them without it, but I think it would look closer to actual Final Fantasy design if I have some cuffs on there. The long and short of it is, the reason I want to do white mages is as a love letter to Final Fantasy and everything Final Fantasy has meant for me, and is kind of an indicator of my ethos going forward with this channel. You cannot just be a white mage for your entire life. You can't just be a healer. There should be some level of ability to act and not constantly get judged by how much of a beating you can take, either literally or figuratively. There's a magic and a utility to being able to be someone's support, but you have to be able to be more than just a support. The white mage and how the white mages function really highlight that and are a really good symbol for that, while having a really cool, very history-boundy aesthetic to them. If you would like to join me on this adventure, because this is going to be an adventure, feel free to hit the subscribe button and join the adventuring party. I'll see you in the next chapter. Bye.